Salutations.
I'm not paid to debate with civilians.
No, we pay taxes for you to protect us, not these intruders!
I'm paid to take down troublemakers, so don't make trouble.
Criminals, and we won't have them!
File a report, and I'm sure the Manic will deal with it.
You're coddling these vagabonds, and don't give a rat's ass about honest citizens! Refugees can't stay here in Rivington. They're a danger to all of us.
We've got diseases, and any one of them could be a spy for the Absolute.
Back off and return to your homes. That's an order.
Why don't you protect us instead of these scruffy outlanders?
I'm not paid to debate with civilians.
No, we pay taxes for you to protect us, not these intruders!
I'm paid to take down troublemakers, so don't make trouble.
All right, what now? Still alive, so that's progress. No time to rest.
Action, not reaction.
Oh, I have the magic touch.
Work to be done.
And these things have stayed interesting.
Soldier, this is it. We're almost to the city. First through Worm's Crossing, then on to the lower city. Oh, it smells the exact same. 10 years on, but still home. Incredible. He got his claws into me early. I was a wild kid, brawling my way through the city. One of my mates got wind of a bit of work guarding some indoorsy type with lots of enemies. Seemed like easy money, so I went in for it. He took one look at me and said I was perfect. I like that. Not like that, you know. Just... it felt like a good fit. I kept him safe and he paid me well. Well enough to move into a better neighborhood and put something away for the future. My future. I respected him, trusted him. And he returned that trust, that respect. His life was in my hands, and I took that seriously. The whole thing with Zariel happened so fast. I had no idea what had gone down until it was over. One minute I was in Baldur's Gate, a happy, healthy, not quite kid. The next, I was burning up in Avernus with an engine for a heart. Zariel laughed. Said she paid him well for my services. She'd wanted to test her new machine, and he said I'd be able to handle it. He was right. Sometimes I wish he weren't. Evil, evil bastard. Soldier?
Worm's Crossing, the gaping maw of the city. Nature has little control over what happens beyond that bridge. I have. He speaks to me during my nightly meditations. He is well, and Oliver also. At times they are one, and at others they divide. Easier for playing, perhaps. And the land thrives also. I doubt you would recognize it. Perhaps one day, you and I can both return and see it for ourselves. I've been unfair to you. I've had unrealistic expectations of your character ever since I joined you. But honestly, you've surpassed even those. Seems my faith was more than well-founded. What would you like to know? Anytime.
Incredible to be back. My home. My city. Baldur's Gate is where I first raised a glass in toast at the tender age of 14, and got so tipsy from wine, I puked in Dillard Portier's bushes. It's where the flaming fist chased me after I'd stolen a peach from a cart in the Wide. I got a good chewing out over it, too. It's where my father taught me to hold a rapier, to read books of law, to know right from wrong. It's been 7 years since I left. It's no paradise, but it's home, and it's worth saving. And you? The city's yours too, after all. How's it feel to be back? Wonderful, isn't it? Torril's history is written within our city's walls. Expeditions to the continent of Mastika gather in the harbor. The Church of Gon displays its most priceless treasures in the High House of Wonders. Voices raised in song on returning day. The heady wines at the Elf Song. There's truly no place like Baldur's Gate. No, never. He did the only thing he could. In his eyes, I invited a devil into our midst. I was a fool at best, a traitor at worst. and Grand Duke Ravengard suffers neither. Resentment is a poison on one's heart. The only way to avoid damage is to pour it out. More than you know. The better question is, did he ever miss me? If he did, he missed the Will Ravengard he once knew, not the hell-touched warlock he returned to.
Worm's Crossing, the welcome mat of Baldur's Gate. This is it. I'm almost home. Before anything else, I need to know where it's happening. To the public, Cazador is an ordinary noble, a little reclusive perhaps, but just another of the great and the good of Baldur's Gate. He has a grand palace on the hills of the gate, where he hosts the city's high society. I don't know if he performed the ritual there. It feels too public. He'd risk exposure. I know. Subtle, isn't it? I hope so. Because I am not striking another deal with Raphael. Knows what he'd demand this time. But if the citizens of Baldur's Gate don't know anything, my brothers and sisters might. Cazador is a master of secrets, but the other spawn must have seen something. Hello, my dear. The thing that will decide my fate forevermore. Yes, it's been on my mind. Why? I hadn't really decided on the specifics. Obviously, we could stop the ritual, or not. What? I've obviously thought about it. If I was the one who completed the ritual, I'd have such power. And I could walk in the sun without fear I'd turn into a mind flare. Of course, I don't even know if I could complete the ritual. It may be impossible, but it certainly is tempting. I won't lie. The thought hardly fills me with glee. Even with my newfound advantages, he's still an incredibly powerful vampire. But he's arrogant, too. If he does hear I'm back, he'll try to take me and expose himself in the process. Then I'll be able to strike. Neither will I, darling. At least I hope you'll come along for the show. But regardless, the plan is simple. Find him, stop him from gaining almighty power, and then really enjoy killing him. And if I can seize that almighty power for myself, well, all the better.
Worm's Crossing. We could be inside the city walls before long. And I could be back where this all started. I hope so. So long as I'm willing to stroll right into the Mother Superior's trap, they have no reason to not tell me where to go. Worm's Crossing is a choke point. If I wanted to intercept a new arrival, I'd find somewhere before the bridge, blend in amongst the crowds, and wait. Most people seeking entry to the city will be refugees. I'd look wherever they're gathering. I wasn't expecting it, but I'm glad to have some company.
Keeping very well, I hope? Look after my angel, of course. She's been through more than I can bear to think about. 100 years in the Shadowfell. 100 years being murdered by Sharans over and over. It fills me with a rage I can hardly contain. She's a formidable woman, my Aelin. But no one could escape such horrors unscathed. She's in my hands now, and I intend to help her through whatever's to come. We'll both of us stand by you when the time comes to put down the horror that threatens this city. We are your allies, for life. I mourn the man I knew. He was wonderful. He raised me to serve Selûne as my mother, rest her soul, had wished. He was everything to me, all my life. When an emissary of Selûne came to our little town, we were elated. Dame Aelin, daughter of the Moon Maiden herself. This was different. It was like I could see my fate in her eyes. Lucky for me, she felt the same way. But my father was skeptical. Aelin is immortal, after all. I understand it's strange. There's an imbalance between us, certainly. But I suppose loving Aelin felt the same as loving myself. It was natural. Then... and this is where I still need answers. I died. I'm not sure how, why, but all was black. Next I knew, I was being jolted awake. He told me we'd be together now. I found last light within the shadows. By the time he's gone now. But I suppose the man I knew died when I died.
Come to bask in the glow of the Moon Maiden's sword? Be most welcome.
The next urchin that tries to pick my pocket will lose its hand. Half of the children here are already mutilated by poverty and starvation. I am reminded of the Barbarian, the stench streets of Menzoberranzan, where the sick and the outlawed make their homes. Despite the destitution, there is profit and opportunity to be found in such places, if one is willing to wade through the squalor. Yes. I only know it through history books and hearsay. A city of murder and grief. I expect it will live up to its legend. From the still, dark waters of Lake Donegarten to the black academies of Tierbresh, it is a city of wonders and terror. But it is not my home anymore. If I were to return, I would be denied all of its wonders and shown only the terror. I enjoyed every luxury, whether harvested in the Underdark or stolen from the surface, and I survived my first assassination attempt while I still suckled at my mother's breast. I tasted her blood that day. She covered my body with her own, and a blade bit deep into her chest, almost puncturing her heart. When I came of age, she tried to take my life herself. And I gave her fresh scars to match those she earned protecting me. How so? I could have been born a slave, a serf, or a jaluk. I had every advantage, and my mother showed me how to survive. She taught me to be resilient, and to guard my heart from those who cannot be trusted, literally and figuratively. When I choose to let somebody close, I do not do so lightly. That gives a great depth of meaning to the bonds I do share.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
Hi. It's me, Yenna. You remember me, right? You were really nice to me before, and, my mum hasn't come back yet. She might come later. I don't think she's coming. Could we maybe stay here?
Isn't there a human crest she can join?
Yes! You've got a fire and everything. I can cook really good. Whatever you want. Thank you, thank you.
File a report, and I'm sure the Manic will deal with it.
Coddling these vagabonds, and don't give a rat's ass about honest citizens.
Modesty, dear.
They got me signed up to learn to make pots, which is dumb. I'd rather learn how to kill cultists. And I bet you'd back me up on that.
I'm really worried about Umi.
Don't take that on yourself. You know who's really responsible.
You did what you could, Saul. I'm sure you did.
So, you survived. That's more than many of my kin can say. It's mainly anger that keeps me going. Zevlor was supposed to lead us, but he froze when we needed him most. I haven't seen him since the massacre on the road, which is lucky for him.
You made it here all on your own.
It was touch and go. Some close calls. The cult have claimed every road between Baldur's Gate and Eldergard. But from what you tell me, I had it easy compared to the rest of you.
Remember in Moonrise?
When Alfira sang us that song, I think of it every day.
Me too.
We've lost so many since Elturel.
What a sad situation. The once proud tieflings of Elturel, reduced to beggars. I miss Zevlor.
We made it through hell, twice. I know now that as long as Danis and I stick together, we can do anything. We made it through hell.
We made it alive to Baldur's Gate. Almost, anyway. But I can't complain. When I look at Bex and realize she's safe, it's hard not to weep from joy.
Hail, friend. Fine day, isn't it? Forgive me, you're in no mood to talk about the weather. Your journey here was a hard one, no doubt. Is this your first time in Baldur's Gate? It's a fine city, isn't it? No better place to hail from. Used to be you'd arrive knowing you'd a full belly and a warm bed waiting for you. Not anymore. These days, there's barely enough to go around. Add the refugees on top and, well, folk aren't feeling too generous. Tensions? That's putting it mildly. Some well-to-dos in the city donated enough to see the newcomers right for the time being. Only they didn't bother helping everyone else. Locals going without while strangers feast. It stoked the fire, all right. Some Baldarians are kicking up a fuss round the front of the barn as we speak. If I wasn't wearing this uniform, I'd walk round there and teach them a lesson they'd never forget. What peace. If no one steps in, there'll be bodies piled high in the streets before long. Those refugees have been leeching on our city for too long. If we don't show them that we mean business, they'll bleed us dry. We need to march round the front and kill every last one of them. Let's see them eat our food with their guts on the floor. What do you say? Tell them! I'll cut out their eyes and make them watch!
So, you're the lick-spittle who crushed the Bone Lord's thrall. Have you come begging, sniffing for our stones? Gortash won't like that. A throat his black hand can't choke the spit from. You'll need to bleed and carve this city if you want to turn him to grave meat. He shivers at the thought. When you find the Lordling, tell him Orin is watching.
So Orin is a shapeshifter. How long has she been watching?
Orin, Skvar. Burn away the shadows she hides in. Tear off her mask. And you'd reveal her for what she is. A shivering child.
Tankers of river water to raise.
So Baal's chosen is a doppelganger. I should not be surprised. They have ever been among his favorite servants. Orin is testing you. Either she thinks herself a predator, playing with her food, or she fears what you might do. Good.
Shape-shifting monstrosities of unknown origin. Doppelgangers are unnatural predators.
A latent empathic ability is helping them to know, imitate, and eventually replace their prey.
Exactly. The last time I fought doppelgangers, the Balspawn Sarevok was using them to subvert the city government, aid his rise to power. But Orin, he's more predator than politician, I think. She simply wants to make us feel hunted, isolated. Tell the Lordling that Orin is watching. Seems that Gortash and Orin have had a little falling out. We should leverage that.
Orin toys with us where she could destroy us. Whatever her motivations, I hope she reveals them quickly.
We've lost so many since Elturel.
We should have an exile's feast to commemorate those we lost. Supplies are short. Fighting something solid. Even if we only have tankers of river water to raise, we'll drink to their memory.
This cart. But what were they thinking?
They wasn't thinking. Starving folk tend not to.
That might be worth a look.
And taking their fair shares, we have plenty for everyone.
We cannot rush into their claws again. Another defeat will wipe us out.
There are so few of us left. Our strength was never numbers, but the bonds we share, and they are stronger than ever.
As long as we stand together.
Rechtei Hathran Rust. Frey Valdisk Durovna. Frey Valdisk Ablast.
You've clearly walked into some kind of ceremony, but it's nothing that you recognize.
Im Orak. Nete. Krasin. Netra.
We would not normally tolerate outsiders at a time like this. The Slayer of Ketheric Thorn. Well, these are strange times indeed. A fine trophy. Perhaps you would like to claim another. Baldur's Gate is haunted by many things, but one of its most insidious is the vampire Cazador. For years, his foul spawn have stolen away innocents at night, whisking them back to his palace. Recently, they struck our camp. They took our children, every last one, our whole future. They tore us to pieces. Vampire spawn and werewolves. I have never seen a vampire's lair so heavily guarded. What's left of my tribe is wounded and broken. We cannot stand against him to save our children. But perhaps the Slayer of Ketheric could. If you do this, our entire tribe will be in your debt. On our honor, it will be repaid. May the gods keep you, and damn your enemies.
Our judgment, and it almost doomed us. We need strategy and cool heads.
Not everyone subscribes to what.
What if this is it for our people? What if this is the end?
we should do nothing? Just wait for the next wave?
Something over there.
your brother.